Well, it looks like I've got much more work in front of me than I had imagined. When we go back to where I'm at in this. Right here. I'm down to here. And this Mott Hover Learn didn't exist. I'm not even sure it existed when I didn't actually build the flame wheel last year. I rebuilt the flame wheel. And to tell you the truth, I didn't look at any of this documentation when I went back to put it together. I just went through the mission planner portion that I understood and went down through this list, and this option didn't exist. Just went down the rest of these and worked my way through the main perimeters list. Now, it might be one of my problems with the flame wheel. I always thought the main problem with the flame wheel was tuning. That's why it wasn't really thrown away or disassembled or used for parts or anything. But anyway, last time I built a quad or vertical of any kind was probably 2016 or before. It's a long time ago. I'll just tell you, all of this was very different then. You could go down through the setup and these lists and do your thing and groom this list and you'd be fine. But I'm beginning to realize with this build that there's stuff in here like this function, the harmonic notch filtering, etc., etc. I've never seen it before in my life. So I'm going to have to buckle down and work through it, which doesn't bother me. That's one reason I wanted to build the quad this winter. It may slow down my auto-tune flight because it looks to me like auto-tune's well down the road now in this. Used to, if you could get it flying at all, you was ready to go straight for auto-tune. Notch filtering didn't exist. My first time I saw notch filtering was when somebody sent me a parameters file to look at for them, and it had notch filtering turned on in it. And I just told them straight up I didn't know nothing about notch filtering. So besides this, and the motor hover learn is set to 2 right now. I can just follow this and go through this and do what they say and cover that in another auto hold test flight. But I'm beginning to see that auto-tune isn't my first go-to now, because next they want you to do some harmonic notch filtering, and they go into quite a thing here for doing it. Doesn't look like much here, perhaps. Just they're going in and they're setting that exact perimeter I used to look at my vibration back to look at the IMU. Set it to 1. They're wanting to look at that first one and have it logged away. That's what's going on there. That's logging it away. And then they're telling you to go here. Now I'm going to click on that and open that up in another tab just a second, because then after you've got this little section done here, if you click next on this, it tells you how to start evaluating that. And then this is after you've got that notch filter set up. You'll be coming through this for evaluation. And they've got more parameters in here that I've never seen before. So, click again for another small screen. This talks about manual tuning. Now, I'm sure this is for if you've still got a lot of oscillation, etc., etc., etc. I'll read through it. Then the next section is where you get to an actual auto-tune. I was trying to come straight to here. That can't be the way I do this one. Previous. God, they should put a previous at the top too. I know I can right click or I can click up here for a previous. Worked in computers since 1971. Before tabletops existed 10 years later. Worked on mainframes until tabletops existed. Went to work for Radio Shacks when tabletops came along, when it was Apple, Commodore, and Radio Shack. That was all. Microsoft didn't exist then. So that little thing right here about managing gyro noise with the dynamic notch filter, part of this right here, well, at least they're talking about a dynamic filter here instead of a harmonic. But if you go over to that, there's one page of stuff here with all sorts of stuff to get through. Here's harmonic notch filter again. You gotta watch it. There's a dynamic and a harmonic. And when you get right, see, there's quite a few. To this page, I think this is where they really wanted to send you from that other page, in my humble opinion. Managing with dynamic harmonic. There's not a dynamic harmonic notch filter. There are dynamic notch filters and harmonic notch filters, in my humble opinion. But I've never heard of a dynamic harmonic, but I may learn something totally new here. So this seems to be the where you set that. Well, you're setting another different parameter to 1 here. I would suppose you're still setting this one to 1 before you set this. But look at all, I'm going to have to read all sorts of stuff. But this right here, rather than the 3 in front of this pages, this right here seems to be more directed at what I want to do, and even has some further things going on here. And does this extend? No. This goes deeper into that first flight and post-flight analysis here, if you want to analyze everything deeper. So, looking to me like I've got a lot of things to do before I do a auto-tune. That it's going to be more than just a rain delay. And I've got my radio to configure. So, I'm going to get at it. My wife's out of town. I got nothing else to do. So we're going to, next flight we can get in, we're going to be doing this flight here. In the meantime, we're going to be reading ahead for, not sure this requires a flight. So that's the plan right now.